What's good, everybody? Happy Tuesday evening. Hope all is well with everyone. Buckeye Scoop family in the chat cooking already, per usual. Buckeye Nation, hope you're doing well. Listen, do me a favor, hit that like button, that thumbs up you see. Click that for me. Get that out the way if you have not already done it. Also, we are inching closer and closer to our goal for subscriptions. Please, if you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button now. Okay. If you want to get notifications, hit that bell so that it pops up on your phone or your device whenever we go live. Also, listen, the podcast, go to Apple. Make sure you subscribe to the Apple podcast, especially. That'll be very, very helpful for us. It's free. Just it takes 30 seconds. Do that for us as well. We would greatly appreciate it. And also, we're going to be talking about a couple of things here tonight. Got a nice little flip incoming. We told y'all recruiting was going to heat up and start cooking and start getting it's a lot of buzz and a lot of activity, a lot of excitement. We're going to talk about that. Also, we're going to get an update on Brian Hartline and the coaching options and all that whole thing. You know, Penn State fans are still pushing hard with all their stories and narratives and stuff. So we're going to talk about that. But also remember, when you send your super chats, helps to go towards the Pay It Forward, which is our military and first responders. And also regarding super chats, because Devin Funky will be hopping on in a little bit to do the live for the first CFP rankings. If you have super chats and questions, I would encourage you to put them in earlier so we can make sure we get to them if you have those. But listen, we're going to take care of our first responders and military because they take care of us. All right, here we go. Nevada, you in there, brother? I
I
think you
am
jumped out and
I
popped back. Yeah.
I am I am in here and I'm so excited, man. It's like stuff be popping today. I thought it was gonna be like kind of an uneventful little Tuesday
Yeah.
and stuff it's never uneventful in Ohio State football land, that's for sure. Lots of stuff kind of going on. And what an exciting season this has been. What a treat 2025's been, and it just continues on this week. But yeah, some big stuff happening some big stuff happening in terms of the Brian Hartline plans for the future, and a new five-star flip incoming, a guy that we're ready to kind of make a call on, that we're going to call him to the Ohio State Buckeyes, number two cornerback in the country, out of New Caledonia, Pennsylvania. I believe that is correct. Is that correct? Gibsonia, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Gibsonia.
Gibsonia. Mm-hmm.
And that would be Jay Timmons. Jay Timmons, hard commit to Florida State. We are ready to erase him as a hard commit to Florida State and move him over to the Ohio State. It's like the decision desks. You know, when they have the decision desks during the election and they're like, we are now calling the state of Rhode Island for
Yes.
B Moses. We're like, now we are now calling Jay Timmons. We are moving him from the hard commit category for Florida State over to the Buckeyes. He is ranked as high as the number two ranked cornerback in the entire country, and we believe he will be an Ohio State Buckeye. So big addition to the class, and they're not done, as you said. They're not. This is absolutely flip season right now. I mean, you always wonder about the law of unintended consequences, and then like when you look at so many head coaching jobs being open right now, it's kind of an unprecedented number of head coaching jobs that have been open, and then the number of guys that are on the hot seat in terms of the potential regime change, you see why. I mean, commits, they're just wide open right now. It's a wide open thing in Ohio State, a bastion of stability, a bastion of consistency, of academic excellence, of on-field excellence, of NFL development and stardom, of high character, of spirituality. They're just moving in and getting guys. And so this is the latest that we're saying that they're going to get, but not the last. We think the 2026 class is going to finish strong. This is certainly a huge addition to it. And yeah, so that's the first item of business for the day. What do you think about Jay Timmons? I know you were a big Braylon Womack fan. Not the same position, but both defensive backs, both guys can play on both sides of the ball. What do you think about Jay Timmons there, B?
I love him. I love his film. He's a great athlete. As you can see, he's on offense and defense. I mean, he high points the ball. His ball skills is what jumps out to me. Obviously, he's athletic, but his ball skills, hand-eye coordination, is one thing to have a corner, who can run stride for stride with any receiver. It's another thing to have a corner that can go up and run the route for the receiver and pick it off. And this is who this kid is. And listen, I love the Womack, but I think that ship has sailed. Even if he does want to come crawling back in, I think Ohio State is like, nah, we good, which I'm good with. I want kids that our staff want and that want to be Buckeyes, And listen, and I say that in the sense that we told y'all a couple things. We told y'all a couple months ago that things are going to start ramping up. Ohio State was not done recruiting. I know there was disappointment and, oh, we missed out on this guy and that guy. It ain't over. We got our own board. We're not thinking about 247 rivals on 3. We got our own board, our own evaluation, and it's a process, especially in this new world of transfer portal. And obviously, as Nevada said, all these coaches getting whacked. I mean, Ohio State, we're just sitting here like, listen, this is what we've been criticized by fans, and by even some recruits. Oh, they don't want to come up on XYZ money. Well, guess what? Our culture is being maintained, and these families and these kids are seeing like, yo, hey, they not budging on their principles. And guess what? Look what they're doing on the field. Look what they're putting in the NFL. And so when it's time to circle back or kind of look up, it's like, oh, yeah, that's the move. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that was a long-winded rant to say, amen. I like this kid, Nevada.
Well, yeah, and look, the Braylon Womack thing kind of serves. It's a cautionary tale. It's like when you have an offer in front of you from Ohio State. I mean, people like to think that they can, just shop them around and that the offer will still be there. But there's a finite amount of money or that they have to allocate. Think of it like a salary cap. And if they move on to the next guy and fill your spot and give it to somebody else, you come back around and say, "Hey, I want back in." It may or may not be there. And for Braylon, at
Yeah.
one point in time, they wanted him very badly. They were negotiating very hard to keep him. And now there may not be room for him. So it just goes to show you that sometimes you just gotta, bite the bullet, maybe take a little bit of less money or whatever it is for the development path over the dime that you're gonna get right now. And I think, I know that the Womacs are definitely having buyer's remorse about the fact that they passed on Ohio State, but
Yep.
I wish. I mean, I feel bad because you always want everybody to be there, and I really do think it's a good family and a great kid. But hey, sometimes things just work out the way that they're supposed to work out. And now, when we're moving on Timmons, we're moving on some other. We just had a situation with Aaron Thomas where we had to move on. I mean, it's a nasty business. I mean, you don't sometimes you don't want to look inside and see how the sausage is made on this recruiting stuff because it's sometimes Ohio State has to be cutthroat. If they have a better opportunity, a better offer, they're duty bound to move on to it, and that's what they're doing in a lot of cases. But Jay Timmons, instability in Florida State, Pennsylvania kid, Ohio State cooking. Here we go. 5-star flip incoming for Ohio State. Big. This is going to be a big one for Ohio State, for OG Walt, and for Ryan Day. Really good get.
I love that quote. I said something yesterday about the duty bound. Duty bound. It just sounds so profound, like strength and honor from Gladiator. Strength and honor. I'm gonna have to steal that and tell my wife, like, listen, I'm duty bound to watch this game and do my due diligence, babe. Okay, can this wait? You know what I'm saying? It just sounds so
No, but,
prestigious.
but he was strength and honor with Cassius, and then Cassius turned on him
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? And even though he sheathed their swords at the end and he tried to make up for it and stuff like that, I was still wasn't down with him, man. Like that guy,
No.
he was dead. He was dead to me at that point.
Absolutely. And that's another category. We need to get into old. What would you categorize that movie? You got Gladiator, Troy. Like what would you like old warrior movies, or like I don't know what you would call those, which genre. But we definitely got to get into that genre. Because I love it too. But go ahead.
Historical drama.
Historical drama. I
Yeah.
guess maybe that can be one, but take note of that, chat. We got the comedies and we got that. We'll get back to that in a minute. But yeah, yep, it's definitely a business. Ohio State. I love how they've been saying, listen, I said what I said. This is what we stand for: culture over currency. And let me remind y'all, this does not mean Ohio State's not going to pay players. They're paying them. It's not like they're not giving them nice offers. There's some very nice offers, but you got other schools who are so desperate to just buy players and not focus and build culture that they're just outbidding. But that's cool and all, but we haven't, in my opinion, no, not my opinion, the facts. Somebody show me that I'm wrong. Nevada, have you seen evidence of the highest bidder school working out on the field? Success.
No,
Anybody?
I think much to the contrary. I think the closest thing to it is Oregon. Obviously, Oregon's a
Yeah, that's the closest thing.
nice little team. But I just think that long term, it's the only winning strategy for Ohio State because if you're always going to be set by the market, by the top of the market, there's always going to be somebody more desperate, dumber, whatever than you are that's willing to pay
Yep.
more money. And at some point, you've got to have something that kind of provides you with the guide rails for yourself, guide rails for your current. I mean, guide rails for everything. It's nice to have that stuff in place. And if it's not going to be provided by the government or by the NCAA or whatever it's going to be, you need something. And I love the way that Ohio State's approaching it because I just think it's the right way to do it. It's the sensible way, and it's the way that keeps the locker room together and it keeps them from fracturing. I think that's a very underrated important point.
Well, I stand corrected. Devin, he just rebuked me. He said, "Yes, B Moses, Underwood is the best QB in college football." So I guess the pay for play, buying players, highest bidder, has one out. When you got a 46 point QBR, I mean that's just smoking hot. So I have to agree, Devin. You are right, sir. I'll let Ryan Day know to pony up the dough and screw the culture.
Well, yeah, especially if there was like a pie eating contest or one of those other things, then
Facts.
you got Fats Underwood there to be able to do it. And I don't want Julian saying in that thing. 'Cause Julian's the little guy, but sometimes those little guys like Kobayashi, they can eat like 71 hot dogs and stuff like that. So maybe Sain's got that that thing where he can really eat. But Underwood can eat. I mean Underwood, yeah, he's that's his happy time, dinner, lunch, breakfast, all the eating times.
I'm gonna Photoshop Underwood snatching this pancake midair while Ryan Day is
Leaping
flipping
up there
it.
and grabbing it like a shark or something like that.
Oh my goodness, we gotta stop. Or should
Oh.
we? No, we shouldn't. But anyhow, so yes, lots of recruiting buzz, more activity coming. Super excited. And so once again, Buckeye Scoop family, Buckeye Nation, our message to thee is fret not, my son, my daughter, for the cavalry cometh. Right? Is that good old English? I don't know, but don't worry. Okay, we about to cook, and we already cooking. So yeah, this kid is a dog, and I feel really, really, really good about him being a Buckeye. So, unless you got something else to say about him, we can jump into some other good news or some good information about Brian Hartline, Nevada.
Yeah, let's talk about Brian Hartline. A great nugget from the helping technician. Again, one of our great. If you're not a member at the BuckeyeScoop.com, I'm telling you, you're really missing out. If you like this podcast, that's where we are the other 23 hours a day. B Moses and I on there cooking stuff up there, uh, posting about anything from red wine to movies to obviously a lot about Ohio State football, all Ohio sports in general. And we have some great insiders who have some great insight. And he had some insight on Brian Hartline and some buzz around Brian Hartline around the Woody Hayes. And the word around that is that they're working on a new deal for him that would involve an extension, a raise, and potentially a title change. And I haven't been able to pin HT down on what exactly. I mean, if you is he calling it that or is he speculating? But he even mentioned the words associate head coach. And I know that there. I mean, there've been a bunch of associate head coach.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean coach in waiting or the next guy that's going to get the job. I mean, there's been a lot of guys that have had that associate head coach job, but up until now, Brian hasn't. So that to me would seemingly be a significant move. anything that keeps him inside the nest, as far as I'm concerned, is a significant move. So it seems like that's the way it's moving. Now, could Brian Lee, if LSU came to him tomorrow and offered him 20 million. I mean, look, there's always these what we could play the what if game in terms of doing it, and I guess anything's possible, but it seems like the current is kind of flowing towards Hartline staying, Hartline extending, Hartline getting a raise, Hartline staying under Ryan Day, learning more about the thing, and kind of biding his time and getting better at his trade. So that to me is really the big takeaway that I had from the Nugget, and was really excited to hear that because Brian Hartline, obviously an important. I mean, you talk about things that can kind of change the trajectory of Ohio State going forward. Um, Brian Hartline leaving would definitely change things. I'm not saying it'd be the end of days. I'm not saying we'd have to close the shoe and be done, and B Moses burns all his hoodies and we all cry and stuff like that. But like, it would be something. It's a something. You know what I'm saying? So I want that day to be as far away in the future as we possibly can. But the good news is, I think Brian realizes that he's got a lot to learn, and he's still a work in progress, and he's still a very young guy at 38. So that's what I got on Brian Hartline. Very positive news, very positive development, and that's the word kind of percolating throughout the Ohio State football administration.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. A lot of his name is hot. I think the responsible thing to do is to respond respectfully with exactly this title, all types, whatever accolades you want, extension. This is our guy. We're committed to him type thing. Here's our reward for you staying type thing. And I think Brian he wants to be a Buckeye. He wants to stay. Obviously, he wants to be a head coach, but as we've always said, he wants to be the Buckeyes head coach. Obviously, that seat is occupied, but he's 8 games into being an OC. And so, to me, leaving to go to Penn State with their expectations, which is better than what James Franklin has brought to them, for me, that's lofty. It's just like, to me, it just makes sense for him to stay. So I like that Ohio State is responding with that, and I'm sure we'll see something public soon. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. As I was saying to Nevada last week, I forget what we were talking about, but I was talking about how crazy it is, all these coaches getting whacked. I can never remember, maybe when I was a kid or something, and I just wasn't dialed into coach firings, but I cannot remember this much activity during a season for so many big time coaching jobs, Nevada. It's insane. So yeah, I mean, that right there in itself is a whole story, bro.
Well, when you put it in the context of the transfer portal and NIL, because when you were a wee lad and there'd be these coaching jobs open, kids moving wasn't really on the table. You know what I'm
True.
saying?
True.
So now your point's spot on, because the fact that there's instability in the coaching ranks, jobs available during the season, jobs potentially available at the end of the season, et cetera, and NIL and transfer portal. I mean, it's chaos. I mean, it's absolute chaos. So, it'd be one thing if we just had job openings, but now you've got job openings, which is precipitating player openings, which is, and assistant coaches and position coaches, and then recruits, and then existing players, and I mean, it's crazy. It's definitely changed the way that I watch college football now, because I'll watch college football. Say I'll watch one of those Tuesday night games. When there's those Tuesday night games, those obscure
Action.
conferences. Yeah, whatever, exactly. And you'll see some kid from Tulane, or some kid, I saw what's his name? McCown's, I think it was Josh McCown's son or something like that, for like UTSA last week, and he's throwing like 7 touchdown passes, and I'm like, man, that guy could look good at a big school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
'Cause that's your first thought. Every time you see something, it's like, wow, I wonder where he's going to end up. I wonder if that's the next quarterback at Indiana, or the next quarterback at Oregon, or whatever it's going to be. But yeah, I mean, things are changing, lots of instability. The expanded playoff has really, put the pressure on these coaches, because, if you're not, if you haven't made your team a playoff team, or your team like that, I think the administrations have less patience for you. Before it'd be like one team is going to be the national champion, or there might be two that play in the championship final, or then four. Now it's 12. And I think the expectations have raised for coaches that if you're not making the playoff, you're on the hot seat. And that's a change. So, it used to be good enough just to make a bowl, making a
Yeah,
bowl was kind of the thing. And now it's like, now, making a bowl was a lot easier because anybody with a winning record made a bowl. Now it's like, if you're not in the playoff, well, you're potentially your job's in jeopardy. And yeah, that's going to take some getting used to. Good news for us, we're in the playoff. There's virtually no path for us not to be in the playoff. We have a great young head coach, and he ain't leaving. And we're the defending national champions, so definitely a good time to be a Buckeye.
for sure. And another thing about Hartline is that, first of all, the notion that he was leaving during the season, as some Penn State media types were trying to say, is crazy. But I mean, not even just this season. We have the opportunity with this roster, this program, the recruits we got coming in, the guys we got coming back, the hits we've been having consistently with the transfer portal to do something special. We're in position to really have a solid chance to win another national title. And then in 2026, we'll be right there amongst anybody to win it again. So for Brian Hartline, him leaving to go to Penn State, not only, in my opinion, is that putting himself in a really tough spot, inexperienced, um, their expectations, it's not Ohio State. There's several things we could say. Then on top of that, you're leaving the program where you can be a key cog and doing something that's never been done in Ohio State history or college football history. Well, no, I think there's been a three-peat before, maybe back in 1927 or something. I don't know. But in modern days, there hasn't been a three-peat. Even Bama didn't three-peat, correct? They won two in a row, right? Nevada.
Correct. That's correct.
And then they lost, and yeah. So shoot, a back-to-back hasn't been done in the Big Ten since Minnesota in 1942, I believe is the stat. And then Ohio State has never won back-to-back. So there's that. And then, of course, you have the opportunity to still coach Jeremiah Smith, a generational talent. Like, to me, you can be one of the greatest revered Buckeyes ever. You are already on that trajectory. If you bang out, that's wiped out. That's in serious jeopardy. If you stay and ride this wave, get more rings, and make history, and just be patient, build your resume here at home. You know you love home. This is home. Your family love home. To me, it just makes sense. I understand money talks, but like you said, Nevada, it's not like he's a brokey. Like, he's had bread for a minute. He was in the NFL and did very well in his second contract, and I believe his third. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a stranger to money. So turning down more money in exchange for all of these other things that I think really speak to his livelihood outside of just financial, just makes sense, man. Right, Nevada?
Well, I mean, his highest utility is going to be successful as a college football coach. So he's got to find the position that's going to make him, that gives him the highest likelihood of success as a college football coach, because just getting there early and being unsuccessful, that's a losing strategy for him.
Yeah.
But getting there and being successful, and he knows that the highest and best use of his talents is at Ohio State, is the head coach at Ohio State. That's where he can recruit the best. That's where he played. I mean, his recruiting pitch when he talks to the players about come to Ohio State, just like I did. I went to Ohio State and I came in as a wide receiver and I went to the league, and you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
pitch is different when you go anywhere else. It's a different pitch.
Yep.
And so, he's been able to make it. These guys are saying, I believe in this so much. That's the path I followed from my life. I went to Ohio State, and I'm telling you to do the same thing. You're going to be an NFL wide receiver. You can do it, and guys are buying that. But once you leave and you do it, and then heaven forbid you're not successful, then you've just you've soiled the buoy. And at that point, what are you going to do? You can go be an offensive coordinator, you can do it. But if your dream was, I wanted to sit in the big chair in Columbus and be the head coach at Ohio State, yeah, and in the meantime, he's just gonna have to slum it, making $4 million a year or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, Brian, I know times are hard. We'll have a GoFundMe for him or something like that, or he can have like a car wash or a bake sale or something like that to make ends meet. But for him, like I'm telling you, his only losing move is rushing. If he's not fully ready and if he doesn't have full resources behind him to be successful, man, he's like I said, he's literally walking past $100 bills to pick up pennies, and nobody wants to do that.
Yep. It would not be smart. And I was kind of debating with my Penn State buddy I talk to often, and Penn State is excited about Brian Hartline. I'm just like, y'all. First of all, listen, no disrespect, but it also made me think, like, man. Again, I know it's a broken record. We have to be appreciative of what we have, y'all. Buckeye fans. Like I'm gonna keep telling y'all this because I hate that we have some people who are miserable and are never happy. Like there are so many fan bases that would cut off their left pinky or their right pinky. I don't know, whichever one you prefer, to have the success that we've had and that we've sustained. I mean, I'll say it again and I'll get off of it. Penn State came into this season ranked number 2, voted number 1 in some polls, picked to win a natty. Do y'all hear me? We blink, and these fools are winless in conference. Okay, no coach. They are lusting after an inexperienced OC because he can recruit. I mean, bro, like again, Alexa play Jay-Z. It was all good just a week ago. Like it's bad. So I'm saying that to say, please understand, we are blessed. We are so blessed. And so I
Yeah,
think
but
go
let
ahead,
me ask
brother.
you a question though.
Yeah.
What if say Brian Hartman was named the head coach at Penn State tomorrow,
Yeah.
and this is Penn State. Forget everything else. Forget the impact on Ohio State. Ohio State kind of moves on. What odds? I know you're not a betting man, but what type of odds would you lay on him being very successful at Penn State?
Low. I don't know.
I
How
mean,
how do you do
yeah,
the odds? Like
it,
percentages?
yeah, percentage. Give me a percentage.
I would say 15-20%. And that's
Yeah,
high for
and
me.
I think it's high. I'm thinking 10. I mean, it's just, because you look at James Franklin. James Franklin came into this year, as you said, great point. National semifinal last year, veteran quarterback, goes out and gets a veteran DC for his team. Preseason number one in some polls, blah blah blah. And now, here's where they've fallen on hard times. They lost a tough game against Oregon. They lost their quarterback. This and that. Hey, that same stuff could happen to Brian Hartline. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you can have your quarterback and your quarterback goes down. And you know what? Nobody cries for you, Argentina. They just throw your butt out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it could be stuff beyond his control. Forget the fact that he's an inexperienced guy, he's a young guy, he doesn't really know what he's doing. Just throw bad luck onto the thing on top of that. Like all of a sudden, Penn State's going to become like the place for all the recruits to go to. I'm just not seeing it. And I think, from talking to people close to Brian, I think Brian sees that too. And Brian knows, I mean, he recruits well for Ohio State, but the pull is Ohio State because, as we said, there have been other guys that have recruited well at wide receiver position before Brian Hartline. So it's not like he's the first guy that's ever done it. And for Brian, he wants long-term success. He wants a long-term payoff. And for that, that's going to involve a little bit of patience at 38. And that's probably not a bad thing.
Yeah, I was saying the other day in the chat, I got a lot of different chats. And I was saying, is Brian Hartline without the block O? I asked that question. I think that's a fair question. Is that me dismissing or denigrating or whatever him? No. He's been phenomenal. But to me, yes, Penn State is a big brand. I respect Penn State. They got a good program. They got a solid historical program. But let's just keep it a buck. They're not Ohio State. And I say that with my full chest. We are the brand we have is unmatched. There's only a handful, if that, of brands that can compete. And that's you can confirm that through all types of different ways, through sales, apparel, ticket sales. I mean, whatever you want to point to, ratings, it's consistently there. So Ohio State, and the fact that Hartline has been with Ohio State pretty much all his life outside of going to the league, it's a great marriage. And Clarence parents had a real good marriage. Sorry, 8 Mile fans. It's a great marriage. Y'all ain't seen 8 Mile. That's another movie. Go see 8 Mile.
You went to a
Anyway,
private school.
you went to Cranbrook. That's a private school. Ooh. See, I'm getting sidetracked man, with my movie references. But anyway, I ended my rant with Ohio State and Hartline, hand in hand. Can Hartline be great outside of Ohio State? Possibly, maybe. But to me, B Hart at Ohio State, to me, is the power. And the Block O is powerful. Is he the same without the Block O? I don't know. And I'm going to say no.
I mean, I don't think there's any question. I mean, you've got to you've got to have the quarterback recruits. I mean, he's demonstrated they can recruit wide receivers, and again, I've talked about his pitch. I was a wide receiver. I came here. Now you're doing it every position. Then you got to see who's going to latch their star to Brian Hartline. Which of the young coaches are going to leave Ohio State or to go with him? Given his uncertain outcome of his, it's like you're leading a revolt and you're going and you're looking behind you, which of your generals are coming with you, and you're like, I'm not
Who's
sure
coming
who's
with me?
coming, who's coming with you right now. And like, yeah, I'm not sure because I just think it's hard to be good at Penn State in 2025. James Franklin was very good at Penn State and got unceremoniously dumped.
Yep.
So, I think it's a difficult environment for coaches, and you better be sure and you better be ready. And I use the example of Ryan Day. I think that Ryan Day would be as successful as he is today had he started at Missouri or West Virginia or Rutgers or whatever. Same guy, same culture, same mental health, same tough love, same love conquers all, beautiful family, all the great stuff, right? Would Ryan Day be defending national champion if he'd gone to Rutgers? No.
Nope.
I mean, come on, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's I used to in minor league sports was on there and we'd have mascots and we'd have the mascot. And I would tell the guys, look, the star is the outfit. You know what I'm saying? You're the guy in the outfit, but don't forget, the star is the outfit. I can get another guy to be in the outfit. So don't ever think for a second that for Brian, he's got to realize the star is the outfit. It's the Ohio State Buckeyes. And he's the guy in the outfit. He's making, and he can bring it to life and he can make it better and he can be more entertaining. But the bottom line is, if he leaves, you know what? We're going to put another guy in there, and the ship's going to keep moving on. And you go on, you're outside the outfit, and you're like, hey, I used to be the chicken. I used to, dance around and do stuff like that. Nah, you're just a guy without the outfit, and that's a whole different story now.
Yep. And listen, every coach from Tressel to Urban, Ryan Day has even said this: is the machine keeps going. Ohio, no one has done it better of what you just explained of next man up than Ohio State. That's why we've been so consistent. Consistent, great hires, maintaining the culture, being cutting edge with making sure we're right there with all the changes and doing it the way that most benefits Ohio State, etc. So yeah, we say all that to say, have a seat, Heartline, and chill. You know, sit back with an old fashioned and a cigar and enjoy your new title and get another ring or two, brother. And your time will come, but not right now. that is the wisdom I think he will embrace. But like you said, watch it happen 2 days from now. Some freaking T Boone Pickens type billionaire comes and offers him and something ridiculous, but
Uh,
whatever.
well, that's what, yeah, in this world, man, I never say never, but I think most times I go with the rational man syndrome, and what's the most rational thing for him to do, and it's for him to stay the course and continue to build it up here, and hey, maybe we can three-peat like the mighty Minnesota Golden Gophers did in 34, 35, 36, and we can match their wonder. That's amazing. They were the only team to ever three-peat. That's kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, that is the Gophers of all teams. No offense, Gophers, but I wouldn't have guessed that. But I get, back in those days, it was a whole nother world. But the Buckeyes have owned modern day college football. So there's that. So real quick, I had to make a little meme before I show my weather update for West Lafayette. There, there's me looking at the weather across the country.
Oh man,
I,
I I was hoping you were going to use one of those like those Mexican news weather ladies or something like that
I
from like
with the big butts,
Telemundos and stuff like that. And
Telemundo.
instead I get B Moses. Man, you're killing it, man. I'm telling you.
I forget what this is a picture I took. Who was this? Is this Trick Daddy's body? Whose body did I
Trick,
slap my head on?
trick, daddy.
I think it might be Trick, or is it Trick Daddy? You see all the necklaces and the gold chains. I forget what rapper it was, but I was like, "Ooh, I'm using this," and I can't find the picture no more. Look at that. But anyway, I had to post this. Now West Lafayette, the wind has increased. Nevada, the
Ooh,
wind. Actually, no. I'm sorry. The chance of precipitation has went up, but the wind has went down.
okay.
So I'll take a little more. If it's a little rainy, I'll take that over wind. Okay. Saying we'll be spraying through the wind. I mean, through the rain, but keep that wind down. Because West Lafayette, I just listen, Purdue, that is me and my brothers, we nickname. You know what nickname I came up with, Nevada, over the years for a sleepy, boring noon game? I've nicknamed it a Pernooner,
Ooh,
based off of Purdue and noon, Pernooner. Like we got a sleepy Pernooner today. It's the upset special. It's the too close for comfort. I named it after Purdue. And so, yeah, get in there, whoop them, and get up out of there, Nevada.
yeah. Well, one of the fun things is going to be, if, we do have some inclement weather, is to see Julian Saint throw the ball. And I've talked about his velocity, his spin rate, and I throws it. I'm telling you, he throws a really good ball, and it's really good even in bad weather. So, um, could be a little bit of a different challenge for him, but have no fear, Ohio State fan. The aerial circus will not be derailed by a little bit of bad weather, and it actually be kind of fun to see Julian throw it because he can
Yeah.
really spin it.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm laughing at the chat. I didn't even see the chat till now. I didn't know y'all enjoyed that meme so much. I might have to post that on my socials, since y'all enjoyed it like that. But that's funny. Blame Nevada. He talking about some Doppler radar for Christmas.
Seriously, I can see you guys all huddling around the old the old Yule log, and you're out there, Daddy. Tell me about the first time you saw the Doppler, son. Well, son, it's the Christmas of 2002, the
my
big snowstorm of
my wife's
2002.
rolling her eyes while I'm telling the story for the 89th time. Here he goes again.
Oh no.
I'm gonna get a green screen back here, y'all. Um, so I could just like at any moment just
To
point
jump up there,
to
get
the
you a little
weather.
thing. Yeah, you do a little weather thing with your hands and do stuff like that. We've got a cold front coming in from the west.
Oh man, that is funny. I love it. I love it. All right, listen, let's jump into super chats. We gonna get it rolling. So Dev and Funky Bunk, I always say that. Funky Bunk,
Funky
Funky
bone.
Buck. All right, so they can dive in and get y'all ready for the CFP rankings show where Indiana will be the number one team in the country. Anyway, Joshua Dillon, thanks for the 499. Appreciate you. Do you guys think Michigan loses another game before they play us? So Nevada, as you answer, I'm going to pull up their schedule. Okay. And I tell you what.
Dude, when you beat Purdue 21-16, any game isn't. I'm telling you, Maryland could be a tricky one for them. Maryland could
Yes,
be
that's a trappy game. And at
yeah,
Northwestern.
yeah,
Northwestern has given teams problems too.
yeah, yeah. So
So
yeah. So you're asking me. I mean, I think they absolutely can. I think they can lose to anybody. I think that's the level of team we're talking about there in Ann Arbor. They can literally lose to any. They shoulda, coulda, woulda lost to Purdue last week.
yeah,
Um, so they've been very, very fortunate that they don't have more losses on top of what they have right now. But um, yeah, I think they absolutely can. And yeah, Maryland game at Northwestern went into to Penn State and beat Penn State.
yeah.
So Northwestern could definitely ambush those guys for sure.
Yeah, I agree. They and don't let the weather be sketchy, which I will predict and call. But yeah, yes, the answer is yes. I think they can for sure, especially without Justice Haynes. Um, and again, like I said, we haven't seen them play in bad weather. On the road, they're not good on the road, and you gotta force Underwood to make throws at times. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. And he's already showed that he could turn the ball over. I mean, all right. All right, we're gonna see. All right, what we got next? Joshua again, thanks for the 199. Jim Knowles will be head coach. Book it at $1. Laugh out loud. Yeah, maybe they will turn to him, Nevada, just out of desperation and say, screw it. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, he does have head coaching experience. He's been a head coach before. Probably not, but that would be funny if that did happen. It's really going to be interesting to see who Penn State gets. Yeah, I think they've got big aspirations. I think this is a classic case of where the fan base and stuff has a distorted viewpoint of their place in the college football hierarchy right now. I think they think it's a better job than it actually is, and it's going to be very interesting to see who they end up getting. They're always thinking they're going to get Urban Meyer or John Gruden or something like that, and then they end up with James Franklin. So we'll see. We'll see who they get this time around, and we'll all laugh at it.
The way the way you said that is just funny. I tell you what, the best part about James Franklin is your boy Peel. I'm not Peel. Um, the bald dude from Key and Peele. I always get him confused. Key that
Okay,
that does the impression of James Franklin.
it's perfect. It's a
He's
perfect
a
one.
Penn State guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, listen, it's kind of sad, Nevada, with James Franklin. He seems like a great guy. He won them a lot of games. He just literally, bro, like he literally could not get over the hump for the most part, not just because of the talent on the other side of the field, just because of blunders. How many games have we watched where it was just poor coaching decisions, poor clock management? Why did you do that? Why are you overthinking it? Why are you bringing 350-pound 71 number 71 lineman in motion for him to block nobody? It just be stuff. So I don't know, Penn State fans. All I'm gonna say is we good over here. Thank the Lord we are Buckeyes because that is just a mess, and I do not envy you at all. So
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, look, James Franklin. I mean, I'm feeling really bad for James because he's having to leave with his $58 million. Can you imagine like being that guy and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, James, we got good news and we got bad. The bad news is we're firing you. The good news is here's your check for $58 million." Like, oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, that it softens the blow, B. It softens the blow.
yeah, it definitely softens the blow. His ego might be bruised a little bit, but yeah, I mean he's probably in Cabo as we speak,
Oh yeah,
living it
yeah. He's
up.
about
So
he's about nine daiquiris deep right now, and
yes, yes. So I don't feel sorry for him. He's good, but anyway. So listen, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. We appreciate y'all. Again, CFP ranking show is coming on next. Dev and Funky will be giving you the play for play, blow by blow. Going to see if the SEC bias creeps in. I'm curious to see if some of these Big Ten teams like Iowa and Washington will be in the top 25 and
No,
etc.
no, hold on. I'm not letting you off. You got to make a prediction. I want a prediction. Who's number one in this college football show? Who is number one? B. Moses needs to speak. Lay it out there. Put it. Everything you know, and you've been in the lab cooking it up, like running all the numbers, running all the permutations. What says B. Moses?
Listen, as we said yesterday, I really, 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 really hope they put Indiana at 1, but they're not. They're going to. It's the deciding factor of them. They're going to be too afraid and fearful to put Indiana over Ohio State for one reason. Arvell Reese. They're going to watch film. They're going to watch the games. They're going to say, I don't want that werewolf coming to my house and terrorizing my family. It's Arvell Reese. But no, they're going to put Ohio State number 1. And I wish they wouldn't. Not because I'm afraid to be number 1. It's just because I want to see Indiana. They're already obnoxious. Indiana fans and players, from looking at the recent interviews, they're taking on their head coach, the Signetti bluster and Google me. That spirit is upon them. I can see it. And I hope they're number 1, Nevada. What's your prediction?
Yeah, it's got to be the Buckeye. I think it's at some point they got to forget all the Sagan ratings and the FPI and all stuff and just kind of go, hey, who would we want to play, Ohio State or Indiana? And it's like, I mean, Ohio State's got arguably the 5 best players in all of college football all on the same team. I mean, they know that. So I think it goes Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and then we just kind of take it from there in terms of doing stuff. But yeah, I'm with you. I hope it's in. I mean, I'm hoping and praying it's Indiana, but it's not going to be. But I think it's going to be the Bucket. But we're going to find out. But Funky Buck and Devin are doing the show, so stay. If you're on the channel, stay on there. They're coming right out with their college football playoff show. And as we said earlier, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We are right at our all-time record. Can you be the one that puts us over the top? So hit that subscribe button. It's free. Come on, hit the button to subscribe. Help us out, and we'll have more nuggets and more great stuff kind of going on. And B, I just want to tell you, B, how much I enjoy being here with you every night, man. It is an absolute blast being here with you and getting the weather report. I don't even have to check the weather anymore. I just know that I go to B and B's gonna know exactly what the weather's at all play. Can't even stump you. I'd be like, what's the weather right now in Lisbon? And you're gonna be like, it's 61 degrees and partly cloudy. I'm gonna be like, man, B, you are just a walking encyclopedia of weather. It's amazing.
Listen, man, I appreciate being on here with you as well, Nevada. You are the world famous Nevada Buck. So it is a pleasure of mine. The pleasure's all mine, sir. I'll say that. But real quick, this was Jim Jones. You know the rapper. Some of y'all know the rapper. Ballin' Jim Jones. That's his body. I slapped my head on. I found out who it was. So anyway, good stuff, man. I'm going to have to save this pick. Listen, appreciate y'all, Buckeye Scoop fam, Buckeye Nation. Lighten up the chat per usual. Still laughing. Love y'all. Go Bucks. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.